Good morning, students. Welcome to your computer class. Students, today we will be discussing about more about Visual Basic. So we have been learning about Visual Basic for quite some time. So students, it's time for us to close our eyes and understand and try to ask a question: how much do we know about Visual Basic? Right? Do we know the basics about Visual Basic? So because we will be when the school reopens, we will be going for our practical classes where I will be showing you how to create a basic simple application form, right? Like the project what we will be creating here. So it's important for you to know the basics, because when I will be teaching you, one should not be in a dilemma to understand what is a form and how do you create it, what are the buttons, what are the controls, right? So these are the things you are supposed to know, and that's the whole objective of making this video, so that you get an idea about it. So let's start our today's class, and before we do that, let's do a quick recap of what we have learned till now. Students, last class we learned about button. So we discussed about the push button, how we can go ahead and enable and disable it. And after that we learned about writing codes for an event. So how we will go to that code particular box in between the two headings, which I'm not going to tell you because you need to go back and watch the video or read the chapter. In between the two headings, you will be writing the codes. And then we learned about briefly, we did a just a go through about executing the Visual Basic project. So we will be starting with executing Visual Basic project, and we will be learning about all the three of them. So three methods. So let's start with the first thing. So how to execute a project. Now what does execute means? Execute means when your file is saved and it is ready, there is a process where you can make it operational. How do you make it operational? That is called as executing. So there are a few methods mentioned here. First is the method 1, where you press the F5 key on the keyboard. The moment you press the F5 key on the keyboard, you would see the program becoming live. Second thing is, the second method is you click on the debug option and click on the start debugging option in the menu bar. You have got an option of start debugging. Once you click on start debugging, you can see it's kind of a correction which the program does and tells us if there is any problem with the program while it's running. The third step is to click on the start debugging, which is the F5 button on the standard tool bar. So the shortcut key, generally we will be using F5 key, but if in case we land up in any kind of error, then we will be using the start debugging option. So let's move to the next point, which is saving a Visual Basic form. Now we have created a form. How we are going to save the form? It is very simple, and it is the same way we save any other form. So what you have to do is you will have to click on the file menu, select save form 1.vb as the option. Then you would see a save as dialog box will appear. So this dialog box is the place where you will be giving the name to your file and selecting the location. Student, this is where most of the students make mistakes when they are doing their practicals. So please understand how this saving takes place. It is little different when compared to others. So once you have assigned the name, once you have selected the location, you have to go ahead and click on the save button. Once you click on the save button, your program Visual Basic form is saved. Now students, what is the file extension of Visual Basic? The file extension of Visual Basic is .vb. I repeat, the file extension of Visual Basic is .vb, and I want all of you to make a note of this in page number 129, just next to the saving a Visual Basic form. This is very important. Next thing is closing a VB project. Now how to close a VB project? So we click on the file menu, we go to the close project option. So you would see a close project dialog box will appear, and it will ask you a question: do you want to save or discard changes? And you will have an option of save, discard and cancel, and the top you will have the cross button. So what happens if I click on save? If I click on save, my program gets saved. If I click on discard, it will not get saved and the application will remain as I have created it. Cancel means it will do nothing. In discard, it will reverse all the changes and it will bring you to stage 1, which is absolutely 0. If you have taken 100 points, let's say 100 steps to create a program, and if you click on discard, then you will reach to step 0, and if your program will get closed. Now you might assume you have saved the file, but actually your file is not being saved. Once we open it, we can see your file will be absolutely blank. Then we can so what we are going to do is we'll click on save, and the project will be saved and closed. So 2 steps in one: save, close, it will get saved and closed. Discard, it will not get saved and it will get closed. So everything becomes 0 there. Next comes is opening an existing project. Now for example, you have created an application and you want to open it and check how my program looks like, or maybe after the test I want to open it for correcting it. So what are we going to do? We are going to click on the file menu. We'll click on open project. So then the open project dialog box will appear. This dialog box will have an option of open button. So a lot of options will be there: new project, open project, open file, save all. You have to click on open project, and the moment you do that, you would see your file getting opened. So students, let's try to see a video of how a basic application is built. I'm going to show you in the lab section on the projector when the school reopens, but let's try to get an idea about, so that we can visualize, and once we start visualizing, we will learn a lot of things. Let's try to watch this video and see how a basic app is created.
Sam here from youtube.com/onlivegamer for the new Boston, and in this tutorial we're going to be taking a look at Windows Forms. Now, I'm sure you all have been waiting a really long time for the Windows Forms tutorial, and I felt it was better to start from the console level so that all of the code generated by the Windows Forms applications project wouldn't confuse you. So, and from now on, we're going to make all of our applications with Windows Forms, no more console stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to create a new project. Make sure you select Windows Forms application, and then we'll just come down here and we will name it Hello World Forms. Now we're just going to click OK and let it load our project. Now you can see here that it pops open this window right here, and you can see it from the tab up here that is called form1.vb, and it has the brackets here that says design. Now basically what this does is it shows what our form 1 is going to look like, and the .vb is just the file that holds all the code for this form 1 and the code that we're going to be adding to it. There's another file that holds the designer for it. Now basically what Visual Basic does is when you add stuff to your window or resize the window, it automatically generates code in a designer file that creates the buttons or the lists or whatever you want, and it adds them to your form, and it puts them in the correct place and sets them to the size that you did, all from you just dragging and dropping items onto your form and resizing them, or resizing your form. So let's go ahead and we'll come up here and we'll just click the toolbox right here. And if you don't see that right there, just go ahead and press Control-Alt-X. It's going to open up our toolbox. Now you can see here that we've got a bunch of tools that we can use. We're just going to go ahead and use a button for this tutorial. Let's resize the form a bit. And we will just change the text value of this button to say hello. You can see here that the button's text is changed to say hello. Now, whenever you're making a Windows Forms application or any application that's going to use buttons or lists or labels and stuff, you want to come over here to your properties and set a good name for your button or item or whatever it is. So if you scroll up here, you'll see that we have a name value. Now, you never want to leave this as button 1, because that could confuse you later on when you're making the program bigger and adding more code to it. You'll be like, what's button 1? Where is it? What does it say? What does it do? So we're just going to change the text value of this to button, not the text value, the name of this to button say hello. So whenever we access this button from our code, we'll know what it is and what it does. So to access the code for our Form 1, we can just go ahead and double click on Form 1. And you can see here, let me close out of the toolbox, that it creates a sub right here for us that is the Form 1 load. So whenever the Form 1 is open and it has loaded, then go ahead and do what's inside of this sub. Now you can see there's a bunch of stuff here. You probably don't understand that. I don't expect you to understand that yet, but we'll be covering that later on. For now, we're not going to deal with the Form 1 load. We're going to come back to our design and we're going to double click on say hello. And you can see here that it generates the sub that will run whenever somebody clicks this button. So when they click this, whatever code is in here is going to be run. So we're going to start off by typing message box. Now you can see here that IntelliSense pops up and it says displays a message box that can contain text, buttons, and symbols that inform and instruct the user. So we're just going to type messagebox.show, and we're going to use the messagebox.show that uses two arguments in the parameters. The first argument is the text that's going to be displayed. Okay, so now if we run this, you can see that a window pops up right here, and this is our Form 1. You can see that I didn't change the title or the icon. Now if we go ahead and click say hello, it's going to pop up a message box that has OnLive Gamer as the title, because that's what we set, and it has hello world as the message. Now whenever you create a message box, it's just going to create a window like this, and the default button to show is OK. Now later on,
so students, that was the very basic form which was created, and so we are going to start with that, and we'll try to do this. We'll be doing this project once the school reopens in our lab, and that will give us a more idea about it. And in this, now here, this brings us to end of today's topic as well as end of chapter which we were studying this week. Students, just in case if you have any doubts or any questions related to Visual Basic, please ask me in the comment section and I'll be happy to answer your questions. And just in case if you miss to ask question, then you will miss out on getting your doubts cleared. So brings us to the homework. We are left with one last question, which is what is the difference between label and text box control? Students, in all the difference between the answers, I have told you to draw the format and differentiate between them. So I hope this also, I don't have to say it again. So you can draw the format and differentiate between label and text box control. Tomorrow we are going to discuss the answer. We are going to do it in a video so that it becomes easier for you also and for me also to explain it, because we have a lot of question answers this week, because Wednesday we just it's been only once in a week we are revising the chapter. So if you have anything to say about this chapter or anything, please use the comment section. And till then, students, thank you for your time, and stay home and stay healthy.